Hello, everybody. We are live for our fourth episode of CGTV, and this is a summit special because we are here for the end of our first day of the Creative Christianity Summit. So if you have been with us for the summit today, then welcome. And if you are not, then welcome too. It's great to have you all here. I'm not sure if I am properly live across all of the platforms. So if you are watching this and you can hear me and see me, please do let me know in the chat. That would be super helpful. And I'm just going to make sure that Amber, who is joining us at 8:15, has got the right link to join me on StreamYard. So let me just double check that she's got that. And then we'll have a little debrief for today. And I am back. So perfect. Hey, Linda, great to have you on YouTube. And Kay, you're on YouTube as well. Great to see you. Hello, Trevor. It is great to have you here as well. So hopefully you've all had a chance to enjoy at least one or two of the sessions. It's a much more chilled pace this year than it was last year when we had so many things every day. But we just wanted to really have plenty of time to enjoy the sessions around how busy everyone's lives are now that things are like opened up again. So we're just dripping them out for the next 5 days. And really the great thing about the session is being able to have the time with that Lou and Paul in the mornings is always such a great way to start the day, and then sort of enjoy the topical stuff as it works for you. And then obviously we have our lives together in the evening. So it's great to be back with you. It is literally the last summit since I last did anything regularly live because my health has just not been great since we moved, and I've been so excited for the summit and to have everyone here again. So it's great to be with you. And yeah, I'm here in my office in East London. I might do an office tour at some point. I've been getting all my books unpacked and everything. And Paul's daughter Anna is doing some work experience with me. She's 16 and she's been working here with me today as well. And she is super creative and just an all-around incredible icon, like her dad as well. It must be genetic, but she's amazing. She's so creative, and she's been planning out lots of cool content stuff, doing some different work experience and skills development stuff. So it's nice to have someone in the office with me. She's gone home now, but that's been lovely for today. And yes, that has been Amber is here. That's great. Amber, you're in the waiting room. It's good to see you. I was just like, oh, just realised I don't think I sent that over in all the chaos of today. So yes, anyway, that's just a little update, but I will probably do a little office tour at some point because I've been making sure that everything that Anna needs to do videos and all the cool things that 16-year-olds can do now, that she has access to all of it. So I'm here anyway. The last time we had our summit, we hadn't moved house yet. We didn't know when and if we were going to move house, and we ended up being like homeless for a bit in August, technically, and all of that kind of thing. So a lot has happened since the last summit, but we're here. So the way that tonight's CGTV episode is going to work is on a Wednesday evening. We've started to do a live stream, just chatting through different people's creative practices and businesses, and just hearing from a few of the different people in the Cheerfully Giving community. Judith, hello. It's good to see you here as well. Kay, has she color-coded my books? No, I did that. So I am super into the whole like color-coded bookshelf thing. Andrew is absolutely not. He's a massive purist. And when we moved house, I was like, I really want a rainbow bookshelf. And he was like, it doesn't work. And I'm just like, no, okay. So the bookshelf behind me is color-coded. It's all of my like business books and things like that. So, and there's also the I Am So Many Things journaling Bible there, which I love. It's so lovely. but I've got some random cheerfully given bits and pieces. I have to say, this morning when Paul was doing his talk, I was like, I wonder if this is the first time that Paul has ever preached with a little pink polka dot poodle behind his shoulder, as he was like giving us this big vision of sight and eyes and like all of that good stuff that we were thinking about this morning. I was just like, oh, that's just a bit whimsical, probably not his normal brand. Anyway, so we had a great day today thinking about some of the Bible passages and some of the things around sight. And then tomorrow we're going to be exploring hearing and starting to just really think through what that means as well. Judith is in the comments. Judith has got a session. Judith was the OG at our first ever in-person conference like 4 years ago. It's the 4th event that we've done annually. And Judith and her amazing husband, Luke, they are a dynamo duo and they are so gifted and they led worship. And it was honestly amazing. We had so much incredible feedback because Judith leads worship on harp, which is not something that you come across in church all the time, but she has so kindly done a harp session for us tomorrow, which I cannot wait to sit and enjoy, because when you sent it over, Judith, I was like, oh, I'm so tempted to just sit and listen to this now, but I also had loads of videos to edit and the community platform to finish like sorting out, so I saved it for myself as a Thursday treat. So we've got that to look forward to tomorrow, and obviously more worship in the morning with Lou and Nathan as well. I think we've got a video of it somewhere, so I will try to find the video from like 4 years ago, but I can't remember which memory card it's on, but at some point it would be great if we can find that. So anyway, that's been a little bit of just a rambly intro, because obviously it is the summit. So what I was saying was the way that our CGTV episodes are working on a Wednesday is that we have different people from the Cheerfully Given community come and have a chat, and ultimately we might get super polished and have multiple segments, but for now it is me talking to you and then me interviewing somebody and us hearing from somebody else in a very talking head format. So that's where we're at with our Wednesday evenings, and we've had 4 so far. So if you want to listen to we had last week was Amy from Orchard Art Glass, and then the week before that we had Rob and Naomi from Frog and Gnome, and the week before that we had Naomi from Made or Makes. All 3 of those people are contributing to the summit. Amy was meant to be doing an interview today, but unfortunately she's really unwell, and we were going to have a live interview, but we had to cancel that. But we'll maybe, once she's recovered, we'll maybe do an interview with her later in the year for the summit group, something that we had really wanted to do last year. I literally had all of the Cheerfully Given sellers for all of these different topics lined up with interview dates and everything for us to go live and do them last year, and then was just too unwell for to be able to do them. So this year we're doing all of those things for sure, because look at me in my desk that I've told Andrew I'm not moving for at least 10 years. So in 10 years time the summit might be pared back again, but right now we are looking forward to a year of all the good stuff, because I am not moving house anytime soon, unless the Lord like comes to me in a vision and Jesus himself appears to me and says, Menekse, it's time to move. I will not be going anywhere. So this is our first evening of the session. They're always very chatty and sort of debriefs for the day, and it is really just great to kind of hang out and be with everyone and hear from people. And we have people watching on Facebook and on YouTube, so I'm seeing the comments coming through from people on both of those channels, and it is really lovely to hear from you in the chat. So we have got so just to say, we've got some of the comments come up just as a reminder, because we talk about this every time we use StreamYard. Sometimes it comes up as Facebook user, just because of the StreamYard settings. So if I don't mention your name, I will come back to Facebook and see who wrote the comment after the live stream. But we have this comment from somebody on Facebook. I managed to watch the worship this morning, but not any of the other sessions. The worship was brilliant. It was so good. And there's a song sheet as well. So if you want to rewatch it and just sing your heart out, you can go back and check that out. The sessions with Lou and Nathan are great. And then we had the session with Paul. So that was live. Paul's going to be delivering his sessions live, so we've got that with him live again here tomorrow, and here as in where I'm sat. Paul will be sat. I'll be sat on the other side, making sure everything's working. And then we have got the this afternoon we had Patrick and Maya, Laurent Collective. So Maya did a talk about seeing the Lord's creativity and using it as inspiration. We had Liz Mosley, who I had the privilege of meeting for the first time in real life on Monday. She delivered a workshop on how to create repeat patterns. Now, the repeat patterns thing might feel like, I can't draw. I don't know when I would use this, but it is such a fun thing to do as part of like a like messy church or like crafty section, or if you're like creating cards or anything like that with like children and young people, because every time we do it, it like blows people's minds. So like, how did that become a repeat pattern? I don't understand. So just even doing the paper-based version where you can cut it up into squares and just see how that works, and then repurpose that into different maybe collage, or the session that we had with Jenny where she took us through a worship song and did like a reflective art session. You could repurpose your repeat pattern into a piece of abstract art there as well. So it's got loads of really fun applications across things like Bible journaling or reflection or craft activities and all sorts, as well as just being really fun, because every time it blows my mind. And I cannot paint or draw at all, but it's still really straightforward to do it, even if you are a mark maker rather than an artist. So great to have you, Charlie. Hello. So Charlie is here. Shout out to Charlie. She is part of our Cheerfully Funded campaign as well. So check out Creation 26. We haven't had a chance to do a live, but I just want to do a little shout out there. There's 2 days left to vote in Cheerfully Funded. So what I might do just before Amber comes up is just talk a little bit about what Cheerfully Funded is, and then we're going to talk to Amber, because she also has a project in Cheerfully Funded. And then if you haven't voted yet, or can we? Yeah, sorry, my internet just cut out a minute there, I think, and I was like, oh, I don't know if anyone can hear me. So what we are going to do is then chat to Amber about her project, and it will be awesome. So let me pull up Cheerfully Funded and share my screen. Sorry, that little internet glitch just threw me off my game a tiny bit there. So share my screen, and if you, Google Chrome is not letting me share my screen. That's problematic, isn't it? Let me pop this in the chat. So if you are in the Facebook group for the Creative Christianity Summit from last year, because this is streaming there as well, you are not likely to see this comment because of how StreamYard works, but you can see on my screen the Cheerfully Funded link, so funded.cheerfullygiven.com, and there's a whole host of amazing project ideas on there from Christian creatives. And then Cheerfully Given is basically funding your favorites. So if you vote for your favorites, the top 3 projects minimum, but basically as many projects as we can fund will be funded to bring those products to life. So we wanted to give you a say in the product development experience, and also support some bigger ideas that lots of creative business owners maybe would struggle to do if they weren't getting some additional support because of things like cash flow and the risk of developing new products and whether they sell. It's quite an intensive process. So Kay, you can vote as many times as you want. So you can vote for each entry once, so you can't vote multiple times for the same entry. That if you vote multiple times, it'll just get counted once, but you can vote for as many as you want. So that is Cheerfully Funded. Do go check that out. And Jeannie.crafts, hello, it's great to have you here as well. I do love to say hi to everyone and see everyone's names coming through on the lives. Mason W Designs, evening all. I personally know Amber in real life and she's super talented. She is super talented. I don't know her in real life, but I'm like total fangirl right here. So we are very excited to talk to her in just a sec. Is this the last interview for Cheerfully Funded? There is one tomorrow. So we've got one on Instagram tomorrow. we also have Frog and Gnome, who had a Facebook Live interview. They're doing a summit session. Naomi from Made or Makes is doing a summit session as well. There's a few people who are doing summit sessions because they had sort of pitched a session that worked for the sensors as well. So there are other sessions before the votes close. And then on Saturday night, we have got our virtual award ceremony, which sounds so much fancier than it's going to be, because it will probably be me here, and I might try and source some kind of party hat so that we have some festivities. So anyway, without further ado, I am delighted to have Amber with me. And while Amber introduces herself in just a second, what I'm going to be doing is pulling up an alternative way to show you her cheerfully funded entries that does not involve sharing Google Chrome and this tab, because apparently, I wonder, actually, I've just had a thought. Amber, I'm going to bring you on, and I've just thought of a potential workaround. Hello. Actually, I've just had a thought.
Menekse, how are you doing?
Bear with me a second. Sorry, my internet has started a YouTube video somewhere in an unknown, so I just need to turn my sound off so that you don't hear me twice. Okay, perfect. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. And you can only hear me once. That's great. Hello, Amber. Welcome. It's so good to have you here. Tell us a bit more about yourself and who you are and what you do and what your business is. Like, just give us all the deets.
Well, hi, Menekse. Hi, everyone watching. I'm clearly famous because someone knows me out there. Hi, Mason. Basically, I've sort of studied art for the last few years, and then so I've kind of done loads of crazy stuff. Like, I've done welding to pottery to drawing and everything in between. And then during lockdown, I thought, oh, what can I do? I need some kind of art to do. So I bought myself one of those little graphic tablets, and I taught myself how to paint digitally. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I've always struggled working with color. You know, I love lines and shapes, and I can work really well with them. And then I got this graphics tablet, and whoa, a whole new world opened up, and I could actually use color, mainly because I could delete it if it went wrong, and it was fantastic. So I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to print my stuff. I'm going to see it in person, because when you see it on the screen, it's great, but holding something tangible is lovely. So I started printing some art prints, and then I ended up selling a few in late 2020, and then started selling with Cheerfully Given in early 2021, and it's just been kind of slowly growing, really. It's great.
Good. What have been some of your favorite types of creativity outside of the drawing and things that you do now, if you've tried a few different things? Welding sounds fascinating. Know more about that. But what have been some of your favorite things to explore, and maybe why did you not pursue them any further?
Well, that's a really interesting question, actually. I think I like to try new things, like a lot of people. So I've done a lot of textiles and sewing and things like that. Originally, I wanted to go into costume design. So I loved making 2D into 3D. And I thought, oh, if I can make that sort of out of clothes, how awesome is that? And then I took another course, and I actually found welding, and I was working with plaster and things like that. And I don't know, I guess maybe I got it out of my system in some ways. And then it just, when you leave uni and education and all that, you don't have so many things available to you. So it's easier if you can find something that you can work with at home, and make it accessible to your daily life. So I suppose that's kind of why I stopped pursuing things like that.
Yeah, it's so interesting because when we were chatting to Amy last week, she gave us a little tour of her studio, and she's a glass artist, so she obviously needs a kiln, and she was doing it in her, they had like a spare like box room downstairs that used to be like a WC, and she had her glass kiln in there, and then now she's got like her studio space, so she was showing it all to us. But it's really the like barrier to entry for so many like tangible physical creative practices is really difficult to do beyond a hobby level because of the logistics of producing things at a larger scale, that I think until you are faced with it, oh, I don't know, maybe other people think ahead, I don't, I'm just like, oh, this seems like a great idea, and then all of a sudden I'm faced with a huge logistical issue of like, oh, I've got too many you know, insert items here to fit into my house. Charlie, Amber's business is Amber Day Studio. So what I actually have found is I can share my screen, I think, here. And I've got a different window. So we should be able to share it. Nope. We can't. So I will put the link in here. But it's Amber Day Studios, and there is a link to Amber's Cheerfully Given shop here, which I'm going to put in the chat now. So you can see all of her current products, lots of amazing paper goods and beautiful things. If any of you are fans of Bible journaling or scrapbooking, then you will be delighted when you find Amber's shop. And then the second link that I've put in is Amber's Cheerfully Funded page, so you can go and check that out. And that brings us to your Cheerfully Funded project. Amber, tell us a bit more about it, and what has inspired you to move beyond the items that you're currently selling into this new range. What inspired it?
Well, I mean, I hope you can sympathise with Menekse. Oh, sorry, I'm getting nervous. I'm mispronouncing your name.
It took my grandma 12 years. My English grandma, it took her 12 years to learn how to like spell it properly. She's dyslexic.
Oh no.
So, but I always joke to people, I'm always like, if you manage to pronounce my name properly within 12 years, then you're beating my literal blood relatives. So it's all good. But
that's all right. It makes me feel better then. Well, I mean, I'm sure you can sympathise because I know you're married, and a lot of the ladies out there watching, I know you can sympathise too. It's so difficult to buy men gifts. It's so tricky. When it comes to Christmas and birthdays, I mean, my husband's pretty good. He'll normally give me a list. But everyone else, I don't know, you know. So I grew up mainly with women. So I really didn't have any kind of advantage there. Oh, I know, Dad likes socks, you know, things like that. So I just thought, wow, do you know what? How awesome would it be to be able to give the men in our lives something that's scripture based, something that's practical, because I know a lot of men like practical gifts. Like my granddad loves torches. Fair enough, you know. So something practical, something that carries scripture with it that they can take in their daily lives is practical. And also something that's kind of funny, because I think God's got a sense of humor, you know. It's like when I asked him before Amber Day Studios launched, I asked him, oh Lord, what's a good name for a shop? What should I call it? And you know, when you kind of see him in your mind, not like properly, but you kind of know what emotions he's got. It was like that kind of, you should call it Falafel Ministries. And I was like, well, that's hilarious. I'm not calling it that, but thank you. And, you know, I just think he was joking with me. He was just making me laugh, taking me out of that serious place. So the collection is kind of inspired by funny moments from my family, really. The one of the predominant items is actually aprons. So barbecue season's coming up, right? Men love a good barbecue. I love a good barbecue too. And I thought, oh, that's a kind of a niche gift. That's kind of fun, isn't it? So what about, how can I incorporate Jesus into aprons? It's a good question. And then I remembered my father-in-law. We've got some funny stories about his cooking. So one day when his two kids were young, so my husband and my sister-in-law, when they were young, for their breakfast cereal, instead of giving them some nice sugar to put on their Weetabix, he gave them salt. You know, easy done, easy done. They look the same. And then things like, oh, he once also served them, I think, scrambled eggs with just a little bit of washing up liquid on the side, you know, nice bit of bubbles. And I just thought, oh, that's hilarious, you know. And God is in those moments. He's in those moments with family, isn't he? Those are the things that you carry with you. They're cherished memories. I thought, oh yeah, that would be funny. So some of the aprons they feature things like, oh, Dad's cooking, start praying, and you know, just little anecdotes like that. So yeah, it's just trying to incorporate a little bit of Jesus with a little bit of humor in some gifts for our beloved men folk.
Love that. And it's so nice to have the like story based connection behind it as well, when you are creating something that is for family, and just being able to say, actually, this is for family, but it's also designed out of a place of family experiences and memories and that sort of treasured time that you have. So I think I can share a PDF version of this. I've just been playing around with file types, so let me upload this, and I think that we can share this image. It's uploading, and it's the apron that Amber has just been telling us about. So we should be able to hopefully see that on the screen in just a minute when it's finished loading. So what have been it's sideways, which is not that's not the direction we want it to be. So let me reframe that. What have been some of the challenges of product development as you've been growing Amber Day Studios, and as you've been thinking about releasing new things and launching new products to add to your collection?
Some of the challenges, that's a good question. I guess it is that I've been outsourcing a lot of my paper-based products, just because, you know, I've priced up printers and all of the bits and bobs that we were talking about earlier that could go with stuff. And oh, there it is. And I just thought, well, do you know what? Actually, for this point in the business, it's probably more economical for me to outsource. So it's just really silly things like my bookmarks. I like rounded corners on the edges, and obviously, if you're bulk buying, sometimes not every corner is perfectly lined up, and I'm not a perfectionist, but it does bug me. So some of those little challenges, you know, just kind of working out, right, okay, how can I fix this? Is there something that I can do beforehand to prepare it? Finding out the right color space, which was new to me at the time. If you're printing into something, or if you're printing with an actual printers rather than at home, you need to set up the right color space. So what you'd see on your screen is what they call RGB, and that stands for red, green, and blue. And that is basically a little space in the colors that you see. You know, when you think, oh, I want this shade of orange, and you bring up the color thing and you click on that one. But actually, when you're printing with other people, you need to print it in CMYK, which is like cyan, magenta, and all that sort of stuff. I thought, oh, that's completely new. So I've had to learn all this new technical jargon and working with different software like Photoshop and what files are compatible and stuff. And that's, yeah, those are probably the biggest challenges.
What have been some of your favorite moments of running the business, and some of the things that you've enjoyed the most?
Well, 100%. When stuff arrives in the post, gotta love unpacking. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. You know, that excitement. Oh, it's here. I can't wait. I love that. And then also, I also really love packaging items when people order them. I love like wrapping them in tissue paper, getting like matching stickers and, you know, little fancy things to kind of make it look really pretty.
You had mentioned about when you were studying, and just the different types of creativity that you've engaged with before. And then when you started drawing digitally, obviously that made engaging with colour a lot easier. But you've then gone into working with stationery, which is obviously incredibly tactile, and there's a lot of enjoyment to be had in like luxurious bookmarks and things like that as we're reading. Do you think that sense of like 2D into 3D that you'd sort of touched on is like a big part of what you enjoy about bringing things to life as well?
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely one of the best bits, you know. Yeah.
Sorry, one of the things that I was just going to ask was, with your existing product ranges, for things like your sticker sheets and bookmarks and things like that, what were some of your favorite parts of creating that in terms of the finished experience of it? What was maybe some of the considerations when it came to the tactile stuff with your stationery?
The tactile stuff. The bookmarks particularly have a really nice coating on them. It's like a soft touch coating, and it's so tactile. It's lovely. But then the stickers, I mean, a lot of it I try and incorporate the most environmentally friendly sort of thing that I can. So I'll choose paper stickers over plastic stickers. It's just so, you know, in the end they can be recycled, or you know, it is actually pretty much all recyclable when it comes to the end of its life, which I think is great.
Brilliant.
But yeah, the tactile stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's the whole sort of ASMR thing of peeling stickers off, which, if you don't know what that is, it's when you hear a sound and you just go, oh, I love it, I love it. You know, that kind of moment. So a lot of it really is very tactile, even though it's paper. Like the art prints, it's choosing the type of card, the type of paper that's got a little bit of texture on it, you know. It's not just flat, it's not just smooth, it's got a little bit of texture on it, and it just looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more whole, you know. It's lovely.
So I have got a little screenshot of Amber's Chiefly Given shop, so you can see some of her existing products as well, which I'm going to upload. We're really channeling all of the workarounds when it comes to digital stuff, but I particularly just wanted to touch on that because Amber had already mentioned having the sort of rounded corners with the bookmarks. And I think so often we don't realize when we're seeing like a finished product, the tiniest details that are considered. So, you know, thinking about, you know, the exact colors that you want things to look like, you know, in terms of how art is represented. A lot of the reason that people don't always sell digital versions of their artwork is not only because there's a copyright risk attached to it, but if somebody prints out a piece of artwork on their printer at home, you as an artist don't have the same level of control over the colors and the way that their printers are balanced as well. So there's you know, a lot of people want to make sure that the way that they've designed their artwork is the way that people are then able to see and enjoy it. So here we go. So there are things like your, you know, the rounded corners of bookmark and the sort of tactile nature of you know, a finish or a lamination on a piece of stationery that we might not realize is part of that process and part of that like sampling process, but that makes such a huge difference to our overall enjoyment of it beyond you know, opening it and thinking, oh, great, there's a bookmark. And the really interesting thing, we might talk about this more on the touch day. This is not like, you know, today we're meant to be thinking about sight, etc. But this is a fireside chat, and we're thinking about things more widely. But with the perception of quality, often the reason that we have you know, perception of holding something and feeling like, oh, this is really high quality, it's just because the person who's created it has really paid attention to those little details that create a really beautiful finish. So things like having you know, the corners all be exactly right, and the feel of the bookmark being something that is soft rather than there's like an association of like glossy finished stuff that often comes with like, cheap marketing mailers and all of that kind of thing. So all of those types of things that we don't necessarily realize are part of the process as consumers or as enjoyers of people's creativity are all individual steps that the designers and artists behind products are considering and wanting to bring to life. And just Amber touching on the environmental considerations, obviously, for creating things like stickers. There's something that I learned from Courtney and Maggie at the Christian Lettering Company years ago now that I'd never fully realized was that silk paper, when you have the option for silk paper, is not vegan friendly or vegetarian because it actually has silk in it. So from a consumption point of view, it's got a finish on it that makes it not as vegan friendly, obviously, but also there are environmental considerations with that as well. So it's yeah, so here we go. We've got somebody saying, I never thought about that with the glossy stuff feeling like junk mail. Definitely love the soft matte stuff more. So it's that just feeling of something that is, it's like an experience, and we can definitely see that coming through on Amber's products on her Chivley Given shop as well. So just wanted to kind of share that, because I'm not an artist, but I'm just somebody who loves observing it, and obviously I've learned a lot about the product development process as an observer of things as well. So that's sort of why I wanted to ask Amber a bit more about that. Amber, what are you most excited about when you think about what is ahead for Amber Day Studios and your work as a creative?
Well, I would love for it to become full-time. So, the goal is I work in a college and I do 2 jobs within that. So one job is 3 days a week and the other one is 2 days a week. And my goal is to drop the 2 days a week and then just gradually kind of build up. I would love to have a physical studio, which I'm sure that so many artists out there can sympathize with and empathize with. I'm sure that having that your own space is just kind of the goal. But yeah, I would also really love to do markets. I'm really looking forward to hopefully being at things like Big Church Day Out next year and that sort of stuff. Meet some people as I'm going around.
I really want to do like a big Cheerfully Given stand at one of the events and have like artists have individual like stands within it, so that we can kind of all like support each other during coffee breaks and loo breaks and all that kind of thing. Because having done a lot of the events in 2017 on my own with like all the Chivley Given stuff, I was like, I'm way too introverted to do this on my own. But I feel like if we could make it like a bit more community oriented and we didn't have to do all of us had to do like 14-hour days, I feel like it would be a much more enjoyable experience. So it is so lovely like meeting people at events and just being able to have that in-person connection as well. And I think it really helps to inspire you to keep going, because when you're working on your own and you everything around you is like your own internal like perception of your work, and you're just like faced with your own thoughts about it all the time, that idea of like keeping going and persistence is much harder. And sometimes just going to an event and seeing people's responses and reactions to your work is like that you're borrowing somebody else's energy and positivity and excitement about your work, that helps to keep you going through thick and thin as well. So yeah. Charlie recently attended Wildfires and Big Church Out with the family, and it was an amazing event and so busy. So there we go, Wildfires and Big Church Out are recommendations for you for next year, Amber, hopefully. See Amber. Do you do you have any tips for people who are maybe wanting to be creative alongside a full-time job? Because that sounds like you've got 3 jobs basically.
Yeah, I pretty much do. Yeah. Tips. I don't know. I mean, the whole work-life balance is so difficult to achieve. It really is. I mean, trying to switch your brain off at the end of the day. I've always said like the artist brain, like writers, anything creative, will switch on automatically at 3 a.m. It's like a button. And you almost
it's why we're also anxious, because we're sleep deprived from all the creative inspiration in the middle of the night.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So it's like you really have to kind of set yourself I'm really bad at being disciplined, but I'm learning how to set myself boundaries. It's like, okay, right, this time no more emails, this time no more drawing. You've got to cut off, and you've got to switch off at the end of the day. I mean, you especially on like social media, you see so many posts of like, just do it, go ahead, you can do it, don't wait, just start. And sometimes, yeah, you do have to do that, and sometimes there is a right timing for things. There's always a season with God, and there's always the right time. And I mean, like, I know on one of your previous interviews, you talked about having burnout, and I had burnout before I started doing all this, and the desire to do stuff is there, but the energy just isn't. And you know it's just impossible in those times to push yourself, because then it makes everything so much longer, so much harder, so much more difficult to recover. So I would just say, just ask the Lord when the right time is, because I'll never forget this. One of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard is, it's so much easier to hear God say no. It's so much easier to hear him say stop, but it's also easier to turn a moving vehicle. If it's stationary, yeah, it's so hard to get it to change direction. But if you're moving, even if it's while you're waiting for God to say yes, now is the time. If you're going towards the wrong direction, he'll tell you, and it's so much easier for you to act on it, so much easier for you to hear it, for him to say, no, it's this way, or no, it's that way, or stop. If you are moving, sometimes moving and starting is actually waiting, and that's okay. But sometimes it is actually taking a step and saying, right, okay, I want to be a painter. I'm going to go on Amazon tonight, and I'm going to buy myself some watercolors. And do you know what? They might sit there for 6 months, but you made a step. That's okay. So make a step, but also wait for God to tell you when the right time is and what direction to go in.
I love that idea of being like counterculturally slow in the way that we live and the intention that we put behind life, because when we're faced with these hustle culture, is the shorthand terminology, isn't it, of just like, you're working a full-time job, get a side hustle, make it happen, do it now. And that kind of it's very high energy, and it's very there's a lot of peer pressure associated with it as well, because the choice to not do that, to not like scale and grow really quickly, to not make 6 figures in 6 months, and all of those kinds of like messages that come out in the like secular business space. And often when we are in Christian circles, we don't really see countercultural encouragement to stop pursuing that. And the reason that it's so prevalent in the secular space, I think, is because ultimately it comes down to control and the need to build something that lasts, and this like desperate chasing of something that will remain, and that will give us like purpose and value, and that will give us, status and power and material comfort and stability. And all of the things that drive this like hustle culture and this like constant need to devour and to consume and to keep going and to do more are ultimately like Jesus has gotten rid of all of that. We have no, like, we don't need to pursue any of those things in a way that is like, because we want to pursue business growth, we want our work to reach people, but the idea of doing it in a way that is so high energy and aggressive is not something that is also that creates space for your creativity to flourish, and for you to be able to hear the voice of the Lord, and for you to be able to be in relationship with Jesus, and to spend that time in community, because you can't put those kinds of like measurements of success on like kingdom life. It's just, it doesn't work. And so I think that coming out of the pandemic, there's been quite a lot of people online talking about the idea of being like a low energy entrepreneur. And I really enjoyed that when I first heard it, because I was like, that is so it's just such a nice shorthand for saying, do you know what, actually I'm going to run my business, I'm going to be a small business owner, but without the without buying into the pressure of needing to get it all done by tomorrow, and that constant nagging feeling that you're not doing enough or that you need to be doing more. So thank you for sharing your wisdom on that. It was really really encouraging. Charlie has just shared that I recently had a rejection email to something that I applied to. My heart felt so flat, but then I heard God's audible voice saying, "I've got you." So reassuring, and love that. And you know, things that often, I've had so many rejections over the course of like running business, and sometimes it's a not yet, it's not a no. And I think like the things that feel like rejection to us are the timing just wasn't the right space for that moment, and it doesn't hurt any less, but it's often not really a reflection on you. It's more, you know, right now this isn't the right fit. But really great encouragement that you heard God speak to you in that circumstance as well, Charlie. Counterculturally slow, chewing over that. It's something we've been challenged on, but it does feel like you're doing something so out there. Absolutely. And when you get into the business space, even more so, because everybody is measuring you by metrics, and everybody's saying like, oh, how much, you know, how many Instagram followers have you got? What's your like quarterly growth, quarter over quarter, and all that kind of thing. And so to be like, well, actually, you know, it isn't 100% quarter over quarter, because I'm a human person with real problems that aren't just like being a work robot. Speaking that into those spaces often gets you some funny side eyes. Anyway, Amber, what is your favorite Bible verse?
Oh, well, I have two. I've got one that is Nehemiah 8:10, and that is, "The joy of the Lord is my strength." I hold on to that so much, so much. And then my other one is Isaiah 41:10, which has temporarily eluded me. But it is basically, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I love it. Again, it's just one to cling to. There's so much peace in it, so much love from God, so much care. Yeah.
Amazing. So to finish our interview together, we have been obviously talking a bit more about Amber's work more widely and some of her other products as well. But we are obviously wanting you to vote for her Cheerfully Funded project. And there's other people who are going to be sharing a bit more about their stories as well. But when you are voting for the projects, they're projects that are by people, real people like Amber, and her work and her, you know, dreams for her business and the gifts and skills that the Lord has given her. And so the Cheerfully Funded project is not about just getting more products out into the world, because we have loads of products. You know, we've got endless things that we can all buy and consume. It's not about that at all. It's about being able to support real people who have got projects and passions and visions on their hearts that the Lord has given them, and helping support that happen. So that's why it's so important for us to hear more about the people who have designed these products. And the products are incredible and beautiful, but we don't want it just to be about buying more stuff. We want it to be really about this following Jesus and using the skills and gifts that we have to serve others. That's what Cheerfully Given is all about as well. And so Amber, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself on this as well. So just to wrap up on a Cheerfully Funded note, and the links are in the chat if you are watching and want to go and vote for Amber. But please, to finish off, could you just tell us what the products are? What are some of the products that you have got in your collection that you are hoping to launch if your Cheerfully Funded project gets enough votes?
Well, As I mentioned, there are the aprons, barbecue season, bring it on. I've got some men's caps as well. Um, my imaginary cap there with some embroidery words like courage and I don't know, maybe like yeah, just things to remind people who they are and they can wear it and other people can see them and you go, yes, yes, that's me too. Things like flip-flops, so with scripture on so that you're literally walking in the word of God. And then I'm hoping to do more seasonal things like maybe welly boots and beanies, that sort of thing.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So please do go and vote for Amber. It's funded.cheerfullygiven.com/Amber-Day-Studios. Again, the link is in the chat, so you can go and check that out. But go over, check it out. There's more pictures of the products that Amber has mentioned over there as well. And Amber, thank you so much for your time this evening. It's been delightful to chat to you, and we really appreciate your time. So thanks for being part of it.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was great. Thank you.
And we'll see you soon. And yeah, see what happens on Saturday. 2 more days left for voting. So thank you so much and have a good evening. Bye.
Bye, guys.
So that was Amber from Amber Day Studios. I'm not going to put the links in again because I've already put them in twice, and I think Sarah or Becky has put them in as well in the Summit Facebook group. But if you do want the link, just let me know in the chat, and obviously we can get that sent over to you so you can go and check out more photos and images of Amber's work. So yes, that was one of our interviews. That was the regular slot that we've been doing on a Wednesday and that we will continue to do. I can't remember who's booked in for next week, but we do have one booked in for next week as well, so you can join us for that. The other thing that I was going to talk to you about, show you on tonight's, was the cheerful community. Now, I wrote a bit of a vague description on this CGTV because we are streaming to Facebook and YouTube. So we're streaming to the Cheerfully Given Facebook page, and we're also streaming into the Creative Christianity my T's are broken. If you're American and you're watching this, I apologize. My northern accent is coming out because I'm tired. But the Creative Christianity Summit Facebook group from 2021. So we've already got 2 channels on Facebook, and we're also streaming onto YouTube. But the reason that I wanted to share a little bit about this and couldn't be too specific is because I didn't want the live stream to get, I didn't want the organic reach to be impacted by talking about Facebook in the description. So what I wanted to share with you was, and I've touched on it in a couple of emails and things as well, we have been working on a community space, and I've just realized I can't screen share because Chrome won't let me share my screen. Words aren't working. So I'll record a video and put a link to the video in the chat. But we've been working on this platform for quite a few months now, 5 months, I would say, at least. And before that, we were planning and things. But Charlie, are all the spaces full now? The spaces for what? I'm so sorry. If you could just clarify which spaces, because my brain is all over the place right now, and I just want to double check whether we're talking about the spaces for the summit or the spaces for the Cheerfully Funded project. But apologies for not immediately catching on, especially because it was probably based on something I've just said. Anyway, for the community, so one of the things that happened in 2020 that you already knew about was that our Facebook account got limited, and it was an absolute nightmare. My personal account got deleted. I lost access to like the business page and everything as well, and it was just a bit of a nightmare. And I have just had a bit of a personal gripe with Facebook for a few years. I've done different projects for clients and stuff in my marketing work on the platform for so many years now. I've at least five or 6 years I've been doing like business level stuff on Facebook, and it's just been getting a little bit frustrating. Anyway, in November they announced that you were no longer going to be able to advertise to people based on religious interests, and a lot of this is tied up to do with some of the data privacy and stuff that's going on in America and other things. And ultimately what it meant in January was that we as Christians, because we're talking to Christians, can no longer reach the people who are interested in Cheerfully Given, the people who are even following us in a lot of instances as well. Because with something like Facebook, it's somebody else's platform, right? They make all the decisions, and ultimately, if their decisions aren't the same as yours, then you're going to be in a situation where you're not able to talk to the people in your group. So in January, you can no longer advertise or promote to a Christian audience. It's much wider than that. And if you're interested in the marketing side of it from a technical and industry-based perspective, I am more than happy to record a short video. But this is, not the space for me to go off on like a professional marketing nerd tangent. What it meant was that we couldn't use Facebook for a lot of the plans that we had previously, and it was a relatively there was relatively little in terms of warning before that happened. Lots of people that I know have ended up having to close their businesses because they had so much relying on Facebook that they, as soon as their reach got limited, they ended up losing loads of sales, and it just didn't work out for them financially. So it's caused a lot of problems for a lot of small business owners, and you might have seen some stuff about it already. I feel like because of everything that happened in 2020, I was already a bit annoyed about Facebook. And so I was a bit like, well, whatever, about Facebook. So I feel like it wasn't like a shock to me. It was just like, oh, typical. But it did mean that we wanted to think about, how do we have a space for community and connection, not just for Cheerfully Given, like the summit, but also a space where Christians can connect and share resources, because so many people are sharing like anecdotal stories of how content that they're sharing, status updates, and things that talk about their faith, things that talk about Jesus, things that talk about the Bible, are being limited or mysteriously disappearing, and they're not visible. So there's a lot of those types of conversations happening as well. And then on top of that, Mark Zuckerberg had threatened to pull Facebook and Instagram out of Europe because the EU was trying to insist on some data privacy stuff that he didn't like. And the EU leaders were like, fine, do it. Like, I think the literal quote was from one of the EU leaders was, well, I lost my Twitter account years ago, and to be honest, it's the best time I've ever had, so we'd be better off without you. So I think Mark didn't necessarily realize what he was facing when he threatened the EU leaders with, I'm going to take my corporate juice somewhere else, and they were like, fine, bye. Anyway, all that to say that while the Facebook groups and everything are really great, it's not a platform that we can necessarily rely on or trust. And also, do we want to be spending our time on a platform contributing to Facebook's engagement metrics and all of the things that make them a successful business if they don't want us on their platform? So there's a little bit of that as well. And so quite a few different contextual things have all come together, and we started to develop out a creative community platform for Cheerfully Given called Cheerfully Given Community. It's community.cheerfullygiven.com, and the people who are joining us for this year's summit, who are registered, are the first people who have ever used it outside of the Cheerfully Given community. So we've had the sellers on it for a little while, and we've just been fixing bugs, and everyone has been so patient today, because let me tell you, the first like 50 people it was fine, and then after that it was a little bit chaotic. So everyone's been very patient getting their access sorted, but we think we found the bugs, and everyone should be sorted now. Sarah and Becky have been manning the emails to make sure that everyone has answers if they have any questions. And so we're basically ironing out some bugs with this first like batch of people who are being so kind and gracious as we roll it out. And then beyond that, it will become more of a like public platform. So you will have to be registered in order to like have conversations in the forums. But we've got loads of different forums, which if only I could share my screen. Let me do some little screenshots. And what we can do is share. Here we go. I'm going to share some pictures like I did with Amber, and you just have to like bear with me because this is so old school. But it's hopefully hopefully gonna just give you a sense of what's going on here behind the scenes. And I think I have got the ability to do a good little zoom out here so that you can get a full idea of what the platform looks like for the summit page as well. So basically we have loads of space to do things and to create content and to just really provide people with consistent resources, because the summit previously has been hosted on other platforms that have like been a course platform where we can upload videos and lessons and things like that, but they've been really limited in terms of the community side of things and being able to contact one another and interact with one another, but also to give you ongoing access to content as well. So this is what we are doing. I'm just not doing a great job of talking and doing at the same time, but if we we're all friends here. I should have brought a cup of tea with me up here, and then my brain would have been a little bit caffeinated, and this would probably have been a slightly more focused experience. But whatever the privacy issue is with Google not letting me screen record, I will make sure that it's fixed before tomorrow. So Instagram and Facebook Lives, got you, Charlie. Yes. So we can absolutely do an Instagram or Facebook Live tomorrow or Friday if you want to. So you can just pop me an email about that, and it would be awesome to talk to you if you are up for doing it. Hopefully that was not something that broke. I hope you heard that. I think Andrew just has hopefully hasn't hurt himself. So where are we? There, PDF. So I know how to share this now. This wasn't very prepared of me. I do apologize. StreamYard and its software updates. So I think this was the first one. So I'm going to upload that, and then I can share. These are screenshots because apparently that is what we've come to. And I'm so pink, by the way, and I think it's sunburn, but I can't tell. It might be warm, it might be sunburn, because Anna and I went out for a walk at lunchtime. So there is a good chance that I might still be this pink tomorrow, because I'm not 100% sure. You can tell it's after 9. That's it. My brain has just gone on to here we go. Right, I'd uploaded them there, and then they were all the wrong way around. So now we're here. Finally, this is the most chaotic live I've done for a year, and I've hardly done any. It's not either. Let's face it. My lives are always like a little bit chaotic because I always just think of sharing things after the fact. So let's try this one, and I'm gonna do another one here and upload this. So I've got 3 different screenshots, and then you can see what I've been talking about. Yes, okay, finally we're here. So here we go. This is a screenshot. So this is what the dashboard looks like when you're a logged in member. And basically you have a little profile, and you can add your details, you can add a bit more about you, you can add like links to anything as well. So like we've got quite a few business owners on the platform who are have got links to their websites and things like that. So it's really just a space for community connection. And so one of the things that was really the heart behind it is how much wisdom there is in our wider community. So the thing that has been such a joy for me as we've been doing the summit is how many people came to the first summit and then have ended up either, you know, becoming cheerfully given sellers, or being part of our business club and doing some teaching and stuff for that, or you know, coming and doing summit sessions, or just being ongoing parts of our community where behind the scenes you're seeing people. And Kay's here, Kay Gray, she's been part of our business business club since it started like 2 years ago, and she is such an encourager and such a faithful part of that, and just has so much like love and care for the others in the business club, and is always just like the first person to sign up for the summit and things as well. So that has been like literally one of the biggest encouragements to me in such a difficult season. But the reality of like, and why last year's summit was so many sessions is because there's all these incredible people who are doing incredibly inspirational things in their local churches or in their areas and with their schools and gifts. And they're things that we want to be able to hear and learn from, but having a space to do that in a way that is collaborative and community focused is something that we want to do in a way that is honouring to people's time and capacity as well. So the idea of having a space where as a community we can hang out and share things is really behind this, and where we can share creative resources like Cheerfully Given. We have got so many things for like that you can use in your church. So like how to put on a Bible journaling workshop in your local community, literally like freebie PDFs and things that can help you with doing things locally, as well as all of the other wisdom and resources that we've got from some of our other community members. So this is the forum section. So forums, if you were on the internet in the very early days of the internet, which I was, because I started doing search engine optimization like really early, forums were the thing in like the early noughties, late 90s, early noughties. I was part of like quite a few different forums, and they were a really great space to connect with other people who have similar interests to you and to share wisdom. And they also mean that you can go back and search for things after the fact. So this is obviously a bit of an empty forum at the moment because it's only just launched, but we have got space for our Bible journaling club members. We've got a public Bible journaling community one for anyone who's like a free member, where we can like share resources and encourage one another. Cheerfully Selling is where all the Cheerfully Given sellers just like watch videos on how to set their shop up and get help if they need it. Then we've got a community hangout space, which is where so where it says private, it means that you can only see it if you are already a registered member of the forum of the site. So this is not a space where people can just come on and like see everything, because we obviously want to make sure that we can have conversations without feeling like it's on the whole internet. So the community hangout has space for like introductions, a prayer board so that we can pray for one another, and it's a space that is just for people who are members of this platform. Creative business and careers, creativity and parenting, creativity at home, loads of creativity in church. Like there's loads of different topical areas that you can chat through things. So creativity in church, you've got Messy Church coming up and you need some ideas for themes, great craft activities for primary age children, for Jonah, things like that, where there's so many people who are doing these kinds of things more widely, that having a space where other people can come and give input and share wisdom is really something that we want to encourage with this. And the Cheerfully Given sellers are all obviously on this platform. The summit members have got a group on here as well. So these forums are really hopefully going to become a space that is able to be a resource and like a creative hive mind, which is such a corporate buzzword, but I'll apologize for that later. And then on this left hand menu, there's different access things. So at the minute, Cheerfully Selling is visible because I'm an admin, but the Cheerfully Given sellers can see that. We've got the summit, which if it the next screenshot I don't think shows it, but the summit drop down then has the 2020, 2021, 2022. The Bible Journaling Club members can access their content on here once that's finished being moved across as well. So it's really got all sorts, and we're going to have a free source library as well, where you can download like PDFs and watch videos that are available as like freebies, or things that are helpful for certain topical things. So that's getting added in, but as I say, we're just in the beta mode still. So this is what it looks like. And then the summit this year looks like this, which let me add it to the stream. So this is what the page looks like. So if I don't think I can zoom in here, but at the top there you can see that's where the menu is, and then on the left hand side of this, that's where that menu bar is. And then you can jump down to the different sessions, and there's links to the community in the forum. And then you can also see, the sessions are all linked for each day. So you can go down and kind of watch those. So if you've got free access to the summit, you can watch all of those until tomorrow night. We'll do it for the full 24 hours from now, because we did have some access issues earlier in the day. So I want to make sure that you get full 24 hours of free access to it. And then anyone who's bought the all access pass can just go back and watch these anytime. And the summit sessions from 2020 and 2021 are also there on demand too. So it just means that we can have the space for resource, and there's free resources, there's community that anyone can access and be part of, but then there's also space for things like the Creative Christianity Summit and the Bible Journaling Club, and we've got some workshops potentially happening with some other creatives as well. So that's really the idea, is that you know, whatever you're doing in your particular context, whatever kind of creativity you enjoy, there'll be other people who also enjoy it. And what I would love is that once there's like enough of us on there from a geographic point of view, that we could maybe do some local meetups, and I could come and hang out in real life around like some of the sort of areas in the UK with people. You know, once we know there's like 20 people or whatever around Birmingham, then we can set up a meetup, and if 10 people turn up, then great. If 5 people turn up, even better, to be honest, because I'm such a massive introvert that the smaller the groups, the better in real life. But anyway, I just like, it would be really good to be able to have hangouts in real life, and you know, this allows that kind of thing to happen as well, where you can potentially join a group of people who are in a similar region within an hour's drive. So that is just a bit of an overview of why we've done it. I've been a little bit vague and I haven't gone into loads of detail because I am paranoid. I work in marketing, so I'm rightly paranoid about the fact that automated captions and things like that pick up certain words, and I don't want to cause issues with our page. So, but I am more than happy to talk about it more if that is helpful, because I can record a video off streaming and upload it, talking a bit more about the finer details of that. Forum is a blast from the past. It is absolutely a blast from the past. I love a forum. Wendy, has the Bible Journaling Club relaunched yet? I've not seen anything about it yet. No, it's not relaunched yet. We are still just making sure that all of the bits and pieces for the summit work, and then we've got it all lined up ready to go. But I wanted to make sure that the summit worked before we did anything with Bible Journaling Club. So it will be relaunching imminently in the next like couple of weeks. We're going to have news about that, but I just wanted to make sure that the summit sessions and access work properly before I set a whole load of other stuff up as well. So yeah, this year has been so, I mean, like, I'm bored of saying it, to be honest, because, and like quite a few people, like Wendy knows as well, because she's in the Bible Journaling Club. We just had to like rearrange and move loads of things because of a variety of things. So in the first 3 months of this year, out of the team, 3 of us were in hospital for like a period of time for something serious, like serious as in like it caused longish term health issues. So then we had 2 other team members either out of office for a few weeks, or people who had unexpected family issues in terms of health. We've had one of our team members went on maternity leave like way earlier than planned, and there's been a whole host of things where we've been like working on these projects behind the scenes, and every time we've turned a corner there has been something, usually health related. But one of our team members, the one who went on maternity leave, was like, Menekse, we are such a tiny team and it is really true. But it's been really frustrating, to be honest, because I think, you know, that reminder that Amber was really kind to bring up and just encouraging to bring up, that going slow is fine, and the Lord always brings this verse to me, and I've said it publicly now, so it is you know, it is what it is. But Exodus 14:14 comes up all the time, and I've mentioned this before, but it comes up all the time when I'm at my absolute lowest and I really am like, oh, I don't have any energy to continue, like this is really hard. And this has been true over the last like 5 or 6 years, since 5 years. We're in 2020. So 5 years since we launched, 6 years since the beta platform launch. Tomorrow is Chief Ligman's 6th birthday, or 6th, like 5th fifth birthday, but sixth birthday. That is, time flies, but over the last like 5 or 6 years, the Lord has brought this verse to me so many times, and it says like the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still, and you only need to be on one live stream with me to know that I am not very good at being still at all, and I'm also not very good at letting other people fight for me. So this verse has been like a real constant reminder, and as you know, as difficult as the last season has been for a variety of reasons, actually we have to trust that the Lord is with us, and he is guiding us, and that even when things don't work out in the way that we had hoped or wanted to, that he is holding us, and he is with us as well. So it is just something for us to always be mindful of, the impact on our expectations that the world often has. So if we see other people, you know, doing the hustle, growing their businesses really quickly, putting those kinds of measurements in place to say, is this what success looks like? But then when we actually take a step back and think, what is the way of Jesus in this moment? The answer might look quite different, and it's likely to look quite different. If it doesn't look quite different, then we might have a problem. Anyway, that's just some general musings, because we wanted to launch this platform in like, we must have been working on it since like November, because we had originally intended to launch it in like February time as the beta. So anyway, it's here, and it's rolling out, and soon you'll be able to register. Whether or not you're part of the summit, you can just sign up and register for that. So that's just to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes look at it, really. This has been a very winding conversational road. So Charlie has got a question. Some of the groups are private. Is that aimed towards those that sell through the Cheerfully Given website? Yes. So to explain that, one of the groups is private because it's the community hangout. So the difference between like public and private is that if it is a private group, you can only see it if you're a registered member of the site. So you can join it if you're a registered, like the community hangout. Anyone who's got a profile can see that and join it, and then obviously contribute and everything towards it as well, which is part of being a member. If then there's some that are private that are on my screenshot were marked as private, like the Cheerfully Selling one and the Bible Journaling Club one. You can only see those if you're like, if you've got the product, the digital product. So Cheerfully Selling is like Cheerfully Given sellers, and it's literally just videos and resources to help people set up their Cheerfully Given shop. So how to upload a product, like what to do if you need help, that kind of thing. And that space is for Cheerfully Given sellers to like ask questions about. I think one of the recent questions we had was how do you duplicate a product? So that kind of thing. You're not missing out on anything, because it is literally so like boring and administrative most of the time. And then the Bible Journaling Club one is a membership. So you can join the Bible Journaling Club. It's like, it works out between £9 and £12 a month, and then there's different sessions and workshops and resources and tutorials and that kind of thing, and there's also a group and a space for the members of that to chat to one another, and for us to like share when new resources are up. So that's to kind of explain the ones that are private on there, and the Creative Christianity Summit group is also private on there, in the sense that you'll only see that one if you are part of the Creative Christianity Summit, because that is a space for us to be able to talk about the summit together. So hopefully that makes sense. We are getting some kind of spam, and I think that yeah, I've managed to block them. YouTube really gets some spammy stuff going on. We had it this morning as well, but we've blocked it now, so hopefully that's all good. And yes, I hope that makes sense in terms of the groups and the way that that works on there. But obviously, feel free to give us a give us a chat. I don't know where I was going with that one. Let us know if you've got any questions or anything, because we can do a screen share tomorrow when Google Chrome lets me do it again. And yeah, hope that all makes sense. Well, it is 9:20, and I'm just so excited that we're here again for another Creative Christianity Summit. It feels like just exciting to be in a space where we can come together, hang out, touch base, and start to just think about what it means to follow Jesus in this next season, because that sense of transition has been a really big part of this year for so many people as well. And I know that so many of us have been carrying really hard and heavy things over the last couple of years. And for us to be able to take some time out, even if it's for half an hour tomorrow, to listen to Judith's incredibly beautiful harp session, then that is going to be able to hopefully recharge, help you connect with the Lord, and spend some time just looking to Jesus and being with him. And over the course of this week, we've got some other lives and things as well. And I will chat a bit more about why we're exploring the senses for this year. The shorthand is that ultimately I just got to the point last year where I couldn't consume anything else. I couldn't consume any content. I couldn't like think about doing things. There was just emptiness there. And so if you're intellectually not in a place of showing up to church and hearing the sermon, and the sermon being like, go out this week and do more for God, and that is like something that made me literally cry during one of the services last year, not for any fault of the speaker, you know, but I just was in a space where hearing like, go out, what are you going to do for the Lord this week? I was like, nothing. I'm like literally a shell of a person. I'm not going to be able to do anything this week. That makes me a terrible Christian, and all of that. So what happens when you can't engage at that level with your faith? Well, we still experience who Jesus is through creation and through people ministering to us. You know, I said to Lou, I think I texted her last summer, and just said to her, like, her music like really preached to my heart when I did not believe anything that I was saying, anything that I was you know, that we were doing. Like, we were going to church and everything, and I was like, I don't feel like I believe this. Like, I know that I do believe it, but my heart just feels like it doesn't have the energy to think about any of it. And actually just being able to sit and listen to words of truth without needing to engage with them in a way that required me to do anything was something that really helped me stay fixed on Jesus in that season. And then all of the other things that we are thinking through in terms of daily life, like what is the reason that we feel and touch things physically? And we're going to talk more about the metaverse and virtual reality on Saturday or Sunday, whatever the touch day is, because I was at an event on Monday that really ties into like future of creativity and technology, and obviously the Facebook conversation on the metaverse and everything as well, all ties in. So really exploring some of these things that we're seeing as trends coming out, but also what it looks like for us to know Jesus in every part of life. And as we go through the hard days and the dark days and the joyful days and the happy days and the great days as well, like what makes a joyful day? Is a joyful day everything has gone right, or is a joyful day that the Lord has taken you on an amazing adventure and you are so grateful to know him better and to be able to walk in step with his spirit? So I have rambled on long enough for this evening, and I want to pray for us as we go out, because this has been night one, and we've got lots more to come over the next 4 days as well. And it's just a joy to be together again, even if it's virtually. And the great thing about our new church is that it's got space, and we've got a bit of parking, not loads because we're in London, and we're also near an overground station. So there will definitely be some Cheerfully Given hangouts, both here and at church, for those who are happy to travel. And then, like I said, regional group meetings, we're going to do it now. The pandemic has started to lift a little bit and people are feeling more happy to hang out in real life, but the digital space that we have together is an incredible joy, an incredible blessing, and it is a real treasure to have all of you here. So thank you so much for being part of it, and I want to pray for you before we go and rest for the evening, and have some time to sleep before we start to think through hearing and everything tomorrow. So let's just pray together for a moment or two, and then we will go on our separate ways. Heavenly Father, we want to just lift our praise and thanks to you this evening. We praise and thank you that you are enthroned in the highest heaven, surrounded by the emerald rainbow of the Spirit. And we want to just praise that praise you that you are over all creation, and that everything that we see, everything that we are able to perceive is something that will tell us about Jesus, and something that will teach us more about who you are, whether that's a lesson learned or whether that is something that is a truth revealed. We thank you for the gift of sight, and we thank you for our eyes, and we thank you for all that they teach us about Jesus, and everything that they teach us about what it means to be truly alive. And we just want to really lift up each person who is part of the summit this year to you, as we have been reflecting on the sense of sight today, and the truths that Paul was speaking to us, and the just times of creativity and worship that we've been able to enjoy. And we ask that they would be just really applied to our hearts by your Spirit, that we would learn more of you, that we would walk with you and know you more deeply, and that out of this summit, out of this time, that we can take just moments away this week in particular, that you would just reveal more of yourself to us. Help us to see you with eyes that are open to who you are. Help us to see you without the shadows of the sort of human and sinful life that surrounds us, but help us to look to the highest heaven and see the true and living God enthroned at the control room of the universe, and to have our hearts and minds lifted and inspired by that, and to go out with energy and joy, to follow you and walk with you in boldness, knowing that that is truth. So please, Lord, be with us as we go our separate ways digitally into our homes. Give us the sleep of the righteous tonight, Lord. Give us rest and give us peace, we pray. We want your Spirit to be with us. We want to reflect on all that we have learned about you today, and all that we have experienced of who you are today. And we ask that you would just continue to be faithful, merciful, and good to us. We ask because you are our good Father, and we ask these things in Jesus' name and for his glory. Amen. So thank you so much for being a part of this first day of the summit. If you're watching the CGTV episode and you've gotten to the end, then congratulations, you have made it into the realm of hardcore summit attendees who join me for 90-minute lives. Every year we have like good hangouts on the evenings of our summit sessions. So we might be joined for a Q&A for one of them. I'm going to ask Paul if he'll do Q&A with us at some point for the like follow-up questions about the senses. That might be this week, but it might be in a few weeks' time. But we've got some good stuff happening tomorrow night and Friday night, the awards ceremony on Saturday night, and then on Sunday we'll have our end of summit live in terms of the sort of 5 that we normally do during this. So if you need anything at all, do give us a shout. Sarah and I are around. Becky's also around, but I because the summit is on this new platform and it's all a bit chaotic, I wanted to make sure that Becky wasn't feeling harassed, because she is growing a baby and we want to make sure that she has not got any extraneous stresses applied to her by her chaotic colleagues. So Becky is here hanging out in the community space and chatting and answering emails and things like that. But if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. It's definitely not Becky or Sarah's fault. And unfortunately for Sarah this year, the mantle of supporting in the launch mode lands with her rather than Becky. So Becky, love you too. You are such a dream, and you are a joy to have in the team. So just thank you so much for being part of it, even when there's quite a lot of chaotic transition going on and you've got more than enough to be dealing with. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your night, get some good sleep, and see you again tomorrow for our first session of worship with Lou and Nathan, and then our session with Paul, and then the rest of the amazing sessions that we've got lined up for hearing. Good night, everyone. Good night, Judith. So excited for your session tomorrow, Judith. But lots of love to all of you, and keep an eye out for Judith's name popping up tomorrow in our sessions, because she's got a good one for us. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night's sleep and lots of love, and God bless. Bye.